Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Think Tank Sports. Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen. Check us out on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen to us on Anchor or wherever you get your podcasts, and watch these two wonderful faces here on YouTube because we are out there for your video consumption. So check us out in all of those places. Folks, this is week 17 in the NFL. Playoff standings are getting situated, and we're down to the last. We got one more week plus tonight's critical, pivotal Monday night game between my Buffalo Bills and your Cincinnati Bengals, whoever you are out there. Who dat? Houday. Yeah, whatever. I screwed that up. That's great. And yeah, so it's getting very, very interesting, but it's also getting to a point where we kind of know for the most part what's going on. There's still some things out there to be decided, and we'll talk about that. Of course, not just me, Mike on the other side of the screen. Mike, how the heck are you?
Happy New Year, Dave. Let me be the last, hopefully, to say that to you. I don't know what the statute of limitations are on that, but certainly they're not up yet. Yes.
No, they're not.
Yeah, what a great NFL season this has boiled down to, and exciting. And I'm not just saying that because my Giants are in the playoffs for the first time in many years. We'll certainly get to that, but it's just been interesting, and the NFC, man, is just wide open. I mean, really could be anybody, and we'll get to all that. So very good, David. So where you want to start? You want to just go right to
we could go to your Giants.
Let's go right there. It's exciting.
Wow, just wow. What a game by the Giants. Just a complete passing, running. The defense was great. The fans got to see them clinch the playoff berth at home. I think we texted and you said, yeah, it might have been the best game they've played all year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just funny because I just spent the holidays with friends and family that I don't see a lot, and telling everyone that asked me about the Giants that, they're never going to blow anybody out. This is how they're going to win, run the ball and tough defense, and hope to get into special team score and all this stuff. And then sure enough, of course, it was the Colts who I'm pretty sure would have had trouble in the college playoffs this week with the lack of talent they just have on the roster right now. It's just the way it is. And
they would have had trouble in the toilet bowl.
Yeah. They should drop some Duke's mayo on Jeff Saturday's head. But these are still professionals, still getting paid, and the Giants just came out and everything just worked. And Danny Dimes, 2 in the air, 2 on the ground. And it was just so great. And I think I texted this to you, Dave, to see just the jubilation and the relief and the smile on Saquon and Daniel Jones and some of the defensive guys that have been there for a little bit. It's like the first time I've seen them enjoy football. Everything has just been doom and gloom. So it was just very, very great to see that. See, Dable get the Gatorade splash and all that stuff. Just the perfect way to clinch a playoff berth after a long time. A homecoming opponent at home, Sunday at 1. Everyone's juiced up on the holidays and having a good time. So it was great. There's really not much to say about the game competitively.
No, certainly not. But Daniel
we'll take
Jones,
a bigger picture look at that. But,
Daniel Jones was just, I mean, he just was great. They maybe ran him a little too much. There were definitely a couple of times. He took some bigger hits there, but he came out fine. We're not
used to playing from a hit, Dave. It's just the way it is.
Yep. No, that is totally it. But Giants fans, you have to be happy at 9-6-1. you know, you're going to be in the playoffs. You're in the playoffs, and it was great to see Dayball getting dumped on, and he was
Wink
fired up. Oh,
Martindale,
he was
yeah.
fired up on the sidelines.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great sight. No two ways around. It was just a great thing for the New York Giants franchise.
So the conversation pivots to next week where we play the Eagles, and looks like the game might be more for the Eagles in a plot twist than it does the Giants. Really, the Giants could do whatever they want next week, and they're locked in that 6th spot.
Yep.
Period. So, I can't believe I'm going to say these words.
I know.
Do
It's
we
crazy.
play Daniel Jones and Saquon and, Thibodeau and those guys that have become key players? And remember, and I've said this a couple times this season, the Giants are playing, I think they're full roster now, but early in the year, they're playing short roster because of salary cap restrictions.
Yep.
So it's not like they have a bunch of guys they want to bring up and substitute in. They just can't afford to do that.
Right.
So it'll be curious to see. Forgive my dogs for barking in the background.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
the joys of recording at home, but
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with the roster and who actually has to play. They're not really deep at cornerback. They're not deep in the line. So you'll still see some players that are going to have some names, that'll be out there.
Yeah,
you have thoughts on that? Or
I would think probably Brian Daboll will reach out to some other coaches, right, and try to get some feedback potentially on what they might do. I would think you play those starters the first half of the game. You still want them to to have that edge and stay. And if the game gets away, then I think you got to rest some of them at least in the second half. That's just my opinion on it. Of course, you're going to put anybody at risk anytime they get out on the field, but I think if they play the first half again, there's nothing else they can do. They're not moving up or down in playoff seeding. So yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't hate seeing Tyrod out there for a game just to showcase him for. I mean, the poor guy's been all over. Maybe there's another job for him available next year. And I wouldn't hate seeing Breida at running back instead of Saquon. They're certainly drop offs, but not cavernous drop offs that last year's backups were. So
yeah. No, and I think you can go they could go either way from what we've talked about and be fine, really. Obviously you worry about injuries. But they play the games. People are going to get hurt. It's, that's going to happen one way or another. So,
yeah, I agree. So, what's the next game that jumps out to you there, buddy? That's
well, I mean, there were some.
First of all, did anybody in their right mind watch the Thursday night game unless you're a fan of the Cowgirls or the Titans? Then
no.
Yeah, there was some really good college football on at the same time, I believe.
Yeah.
So nobody watched that game. I don't think. But
no.
It happened. Cowboys are solidified in their spot as well. So they'll be 3 of the 4 NFC East teams made the playoffs, Dave. Not too shabby.
Yeah. Nope. Not at all. I feel like though I heard that the Cowboys were still had a possibility of being the number 1 seed.
Okay. That could be.
Right, because they're only a game back of the Eagles.
Right. So they must be playing Washington, I'm guessing.
I believe so. Week 18.
Yeah. I would think. Let's see.
Yes. The Cowboys are playing at Washington.
Right.
Yep. In the 4:25 slot. So, but yeah, as you were saying, nobody cares. The next game, Well, early on, Mike, this in the earlier time slot, the Kansas
Yep.
City Denver game was way more competitive than I think anybody, even the Denver Broncos themselves,
Right.
would have thought.
It
Denver.
amazes me the Chiefs' ability to play to their level of their opponent. It's just
Yeah.
astounding. They shouldn't even have been on the same field with this team.
No, yeah, totally. And Kansas City, pulled away, in the fourth quarter, to win 27-24. But,
Yeah.
I mean, that could have been a real shocker, a real impact for the Bills Bengals game tonight. Should the Chiefs have slid down, again, but the Chiefs rally. Mahomes, throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns again. And your boy Kadarius Toney, Mike,
Yeah.
4 catches for 71 yards. I mean, he didn't get a touchdown, but
No, he's nice, especially if he could just run in a straight line. You know what I mean? If he's got to make a couple of route adjustments, that's not happening. But
yeah,
hey, Deshaun Jackson had a long career just running straight down the field.
yes, he did. Yes, he
So
did.
yeah, no, he's another just luxury speed weapon that they added mid-season, and is going to make a big impact for them. That's what the Chiefs do. That's it. They just identify, those kinds of assets and go get it. So,
Yep.
Not much else to say on that.
No, not much else. The Chiefs. Well, we'll talk about next week's, because I have some thoughts on the Chiefs are playing the Raiders. We'll leave it at that, and then we'll come back to that. Yeah, there were some blowouts. I guess the other close game there was up in New England.
Yeah.
With the Patriots and the Dolphins. The Dolphins playing Teddy Two Gloves, and then he tries to make a tackle and his finger goes sideways, and I guess it's just dislocated and not broken. So then you get Skylar Thompson out there, and oh geez, I mean it was ugly, Mike.
It was ugly. They cut to this game towards the finish, and both teams were just inept on offense from what they were saying.
Yeah.
And it was just, when Skylar Thompson's out there trying to get you into the playoffs, it's not a good recipe. Not a recipe for
success in any ways.
We saw Tyreek Hill get very, frustrated and have a little temper tantrum on the sideline. That's fine. Competitive spirit type thing, but still, I don't know. What are your thoughts on the Patriots now, Dave? Poised to make a surprise playoff appearance?
Well, no. Because the Bills will have the number 1 seed. Assuming the Bills win tonight, they will have the number 1 seed in their grasp if they win,
Okay.
and the bye. And so New England now is in a spot. If they win in Buffalo, they are into the playoffs. The Bills have plenty to play for themselves, but also to knock New England out of the playoffs, I think will just be icing on the cake, if you will.
Okay.
As far as that goes, geez, Miami was so great. It's 8-3. They've lost 5 in a row. Both teams are 8-8. It's just ugly. I mean, we were, 5 weeks ago talking about that might be the best division in football. And look how that went sideways. I mean, the Patriots haven't been good. The Dolphins have lost 5 in a row. Stevie Covers, New York Jets, they were completely disinterested in their game this week.
Yes.
And really didn't even show up, which is horrible considering how young their team is. So yeah, New England, whatever.
The Bills as far as the Dolphins go, it would have been interesting to see how the season played out differently if Tua hadn't gotten 3 concussions.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that guy's career might be, in question. I know that's pretty hyperbolic to say, but it's just the way it is with concussions. You just never know. And he seems to be prone to them. He plays a a position that's as protected as it's ever going to be and still call it football.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the answer would be for him personally. And if that's the case, the Dolphins franchise is in trouble. I think the shine's off of the Nerd King a little bit as the head coach. And, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because they, like you said, a few weeks ago, we were talking about, the Dolphins threatening you guys for the division. And, all of that stuff. And I still don't believe in my heart of hearts the Patriots are a good team. They've got some pieces, obviously. Mac Jones is not, an NFL quarterback to me. But if Belichick could sneak them into the playoffs, that would be very interesting. But, I agree with your diagnosis that probably not. Probably.
Yeah.
Not. So.
And when you look at Tua, right now they're planning, unless something drastic changes, that Tua is not part of the conversation to play in this game against the Jets this week.
Nor should it be. I know it's
nor should it be
the franchise.
Yeah. Totally. But when you think about, as you talk about the impact of him being there versus not being there, it seems likely that again he's going to miss another game. And for the Dolphins, they need to beat the Jets and they need the Patriots to lose for them to get in the playoffs. So,
right. That'll be interesting, and things will get sorted out, this week, obviously. But let's see who else played. Oh, this Niners Raiders game ended up in overtime, right?
Crazy game.
That was a crazy little game when the Raiders go to Jarrett Stidham, and he's kind of knocked around the NFL, but only really with Josh McDaniels in New England and now with the Raiders. And he played well. I hate to say that because I really like Derek Carr.
I do too. And I feel Derek Carr, they basically sat him and said he wasn't going to play the rest of the season. And, now the rumors are immediately starting. Where is Derek Carr going to be? Stevie Covers is saying he's going to show up at the Jets. It just, all over the place. I mean, he holds all the franchise records for passing, for quarterbacks and everything else. And they just kind of brush him aside, which is rough, but you're right. Stidham played great, 365 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2
interceptions. One was on a Hail Mary at the end of the half. So I'll give him a break on that one.
I think you have to look at this game from the Raiders perspective and say, you took your franchise quarterback and put him aside. You put Stidham in, who hasn't played all that much, against the best defense in the NFL. And you took him to overtime and scored 34 points.
Right. Well done.
Absolutely. I mean, you really can't say any more about that. And, the Niners now, with their win, they've won 9 in a row. They're in the running for the number 1 seed as well. They're only a game back. Right. Brock Purdy played great.
I was just going to say, Brock Purdy is the same thing with Stidham, just playing as well as he could, just getting it done.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey, I think, just 121 yards rushing, another 72 yards receiving. I mean, he's just, he's been as advertised, knock on wood, as long as he doesn't get hurt. He's a tremendous weapon offensively for the Niners. And, the Niners are
Kittle and Ayuk and all those, and Debo. It's just
right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. They're just in a great spot. They're, where everybody thought they would be at the end of the year, right in the running, playing great football. That's exactly where they are right now. And like you said, the NFC is wide open. I mean, the Niners very well could represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It almost seems like that's where it's heading, we'll talk about the Eagles, and they did get embarrassed by the Saints. With Jalen Hurts still, his shoulder still ailing him. But not
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, so they went to Gardner Minshew, but the running game, failed them, and they just it wasn't the competitive nature it should have been either, I thought. From what I saw. So Saints, get a win for a zombie coach probably in Dennis Allen. I don't know if he'll be around next year or not. But right now they're in a huge state of flux in New Orleans, and in this win maybe even hurt them in the draft. I hate to think like that, but it's almost the way it is for them. Philadelphia, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
a lot of questions. 3 weeks ago they were world beaters and don't even show up against them kind of thing, rightfully so. And now a lot of questions have popped up. So what do you feel about the Eagles right now, Dave? Are they and the NFC in general, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough. Every team deals with injuries, right? And I think
Sure.
when you look at certain teams, when do those injuries occur? Are they
Mhm.
early in the season where you can recover from them? The middle of the season, you might still be able to, or is it, which is what has happened with the Eagles at the end
Right.
of the year, which really, I think outside of losing players for the entire season, injuries at the end of the year are literally the worst when you're like this. That I think they lost one of their offensive linemen, right?
Yes.
Also a defensive lineman, somebody in the secondary, and you're talking about Jalen Hurts as well. There's some chinks in the armor there, and can they overcome them? Sure. But I think for Philly to be successful, how crazy is this to say? You need to have Jalen Hurts at quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think there's two ways around it. And if he's not there, they're vulnerable. They just are.
They become
despite
more
how good
right.
Their running game is. Yeah, they become more one-dimensional, and that will hurt.
Right.
Teams can stack. Particularly if you look at, Dallas has a pretty good run defense. The Niners have a good run defense. There's going to be teams that are going to be able to stack up and slow their offense down substantially.
Sure, absolutely. So a score that surprised me, Dave, or a game that surprised me was on nationally was the Packers Vikings, where the Packers, 41-17 blowout, and it wasn't even really that close.
No.
And all of a sudden, the Packers are in control their own destiny type of situation, and they're playing the best football of the season for them. Running the ball, Christian Watson and Doubs have come out as good options for A-Rod there, and it seems like everyone's getting healthy. They even got David Bakhtiari back yesterday at the left tackle. So running game strong, defense is strong. I mean, it was a statement win by the Packers, and now they're in a position to do something you don't get to do every time you go out and play. You get 2 wins for the price of 1 for the Packers next week. They play the Detroit Lions in a winner-take-all playoff spot, and if they win that game, it'll be a conference win, which will break a tiebreaker with the Seahawks. So even if the Seahawks win, if the Packers win, they get that last spot. And the Packers will have then been 10 in a row if they win next week, or 10, quite a few in a row anyway.
They were 4-8.
Right. And what are they now?
8-8.
8-8. Wow. 4. Oh, so
5 in a row.
Yeah. Right. On
a
roll with Aaron Rodgers. So I just think scary. I mean, Rodgers isn't out.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, for sure. I thought, and you had Nance and Romo on this game yesterday, and boy, Romo just the love fest with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, and just saying, "Oh, imagine this team going to the Super Bowl." Even Jim Nance, he had Nance saying it. Imagine if this team were to get all the way to Arizona and go to the Super Bowl. Pump the brakes. Yes, They are playing good. Yes, their running game is, is doing very well. Their defense is playing really good. Let's just calm down a little bit on this. It's still a team that has struggled. The receivers, yes, Christian Watson has gotten better. I still think that's a bit of a liability there.
Certainly.
And they're going to have to win all these games on the road now. Romo was very quick to point out that when they won the Super Bowl in 2010, that they won all 3 games on the road. Okay, that's a long time ago.
Would you like to compare the 2 rosters?
Oh,
I mean, it wouldn't even.
No, it's ridiculous. So Romo's just, he's got to pump the brakes. I get they're playing good. You say they're playing great. If they get into the playoffs, nobody wants to play them. Okay, that's fair. But to get on to this, they could go all the way to the Super Bowl. Like,
yeah. I mean, it was a 4-hour infomercial for Green Bay football to begin with.
Yes.
So they really did run out of things to say, probably. But
that got said
bridge
early.
too far.
Yeah, for sure. But still, it is stunning considering how bad Green Bay was earlier in the year that they now play the Lions. And Mike, they shifted this game. So this is the Sunday night game on NBC.
Mm-hmm. Good call
with the Lions and Packers. Yeah, I think it was either that game or Jacksonville and Tennessee. And I think when you look at star power, this is where I think Aaron Rodgers wins out and is the reason why this game gets played at night instead of Tennessee Jacksonville, which is also, the winner wins the division and gets into the playoffs and the loser is out.
Dave, we'll go over what we said predicted about this season, at another podcast.
Yeah.
But I was so close to being right about Malik Willis in Tennessee and making a historic run, a heroic run to the Super Bowl. The only problem was I didn't realize Malik Willis sucks. And it's going to be this Dobbs kid for Tennessee, who they've already announced is going to start.
Yes, they have.
Winner take all against Jacksonville next week.
Yep. In Jacksonville.
Yeah. So I had the storyline right, just didn't have the player quite right. So,
Yep. So anyway. Folks, next Saturday, clear out your schedules. 8:15 next Saturday night. One of the best games of the week. Tennessee at Jacksonville. And I'm kind of not joking.
It's it feels like an AFC Saturday afternoon, wild card, 2 teams that barely made it.
Yep.
Kind of game. But we should just mention quickly, bravo to the Steelers and Mike Tomlin and Kenny Pickett and what they're doing. I know the Ravens are hurting without Lamar, but still just continue to win. And now they're poised to finish above 500.
Above 500.
You never would have thunk it, right?
No, right. No, absolutely not. They are still in the playoff hunt, but they need I believe they need the Patriots and the Dolphins to both tie in order for them.
There's a lot of improbable.
In order for them to get in.
Right.
And yes, we've had ties this year, but
the
Dolphins and the Patriots both need wins. I mean, I guess so does Pittsburgh. So that'll be very interesting, but absolutely, kudos to the Steelers for coming back, being down against the Ravens. Just great effort.
Dave, what's the opposite word that is equal to kudos? Whatever that is, whatever
shaming?
Negative. Shame, yes, for shame to the New York Jets, for shame to Mike White and the offensive effort, for shame to the coaching staff.
What? Hold on, what offensive effort?
Exactly. Just terrible. And the Geno Smith Revenge Bowl. 23-6 Sea Chickens and just making Geno Smith look like, Joe Montana or Steve Largent, if you will. So,
the Jets were they were just awful. Just the 2 field goals, no points in the second half. Their drives were so poor. Oh my God. It's just an absolute embarrassment to the franchise. And again, this was a team that everyone was looking great. Now 7-9, they're out of the playoffs. And
And
there's some question marks.
Just wait until Mike White comes back, chance, or that's over now, right? So now they're back in the quarterback lottery again, or the roulette wheel.
Yeah.
Okay. So Garoppolo's available, Carr's available. Like we said earlier, Stevie said, certainly in the draft there'll be a few players they like. But here we are again with this organization, and it seems whoever is involved. I actually think Joe Douglas has done a nice job as the GM.
Yes.
I think I thought a little more out of Saleh than we're getting, although their defense is excellent, and he's, the de facto defensive coordinator, of course. It does, it helps with how they've drafted on defense, but still, another team that needs some help, especially at wide receiver. But well, they have Garrett Wilson. He's nice. But anyway, back
and
on the quarterback roulette wheel with them.
Yeah, for sure. And they've shown improvement. Let's make sure that we indicate that. They
successful
have,
season.
Yes,
if you asked right before kickoff of week 1, you would sign up for this.
Oh yeah, 7-9, and say you were in the playoff hunt until week 17.
Right.
People have been like, oh yeah, I'll take that
for the Jets.
For the Jets, yeah, for sure.
Right.
That's big time. You think about the injuries to their top offensive linemen, and Breece Hall.
Mekhi Becton, good point.
Yeah, they had to. Every team has injuries, of course, but I think the future is brighter. But this game yesterday was just shameful as far as the effort goes, and you don't like to see that from a team that is mostly young players.
Right. I agree. So next week, last week of the regular season, that makes me sad, Dave.
Yes, it is sad.
But we do have 2 Saturday games, it looks like. 4:30, you got Chiefs Raiders, and then you have the aforementioned Titans Jaguars at 8:15 Saturday night. So that'll be a nice little lead into a weekend without much college football. For sure.
Yeah. So as we talk about these Saturday games, please tell me why Kansas City and Las Vegas is on Saturday.
Why? With practical reasons, I have no idea.
Yeah, you could, if you wanted to highlight some of this, put Baltimore and Cincinnati. That's a huge matchup on Sunday. Put them in that 4:30 slot. There's.
Oh, you think they should have flexed out 2 of them?
Yeah. Just put something else.
I'm sure
that's with a little more juice in there. I was a little surprised.
Yeah.
I guess
that's fair.
It is what it is. I just, the Raiders are out of it. You have other games where at least there's some intrigue.
So NBC goes this is NBC all season. Sunday night games have not been great. But they end up with Lions Packers Sunday night. So,
yep.
Can't go wrong.
It'll be interesting because if Seattle wins, then that eliminates Detroit. And Seattle is playing earlier in the day. So then it's just Green Bay, with the chance to win and get in. So I'd be curious to see what Detroit does if Seattle wins their game against the Rams. You would think so for Dan Campbell and the way that they've done and for the chance to, finish at 9-8, you would think the Lions
above 500, just out of the playoffs, but still with all that momentum. Either way, great season for Detroit, and future is bright there, Dave. I don't almost heard. I haven't used those muscles saying Detroit in bright future in a long time.
No one has.
No one.
No one has.
Anything else about the NFL or anything you've seen or heard that you want to touch on real quick? Or
no, we kind of glossed over this. I it's terrible that I have to bring it up, but Tom Brady had a really good game against Carolina, which allowed them to clinch the division in that awful NFC South at 8-8. But Tom Brady put the team on his back, carried them to 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. He threw for 430 yards and 3. The last touchdown was a run by him with 2 minutes to go to extend it out.
Run's probably a generous word, but
yeah,
we'll
it's not a pass.
That's right.
So we'll go with
forward
that.
motion.
Yes, forward motion somehow. So
good.
Yeah, I mean, Tampa gets in. I don't think anybody expects them to do anything.
Carolina led early, and I was kind of hoping they would hold on to that game.
Yes. I did too.
Just for chaos. Yeah.
So you've got Tampa locked into the 4. And then it's really a question of who that 5 team is. Is it, I mean, I guess it could be San Francisco. It could be Minnesota. It could be the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Tampa, even though they would be at home, I don't think they'd be favored against any of those teams.
I would think not, right? I mean, fundamentally, they're not a great football team by any means, but someone had to win that division. I don't think they'd be favored even. Nope.
No, I don't see how.
Right. Probably favored slightly against the Giants or the Seahawks. I mean, obviously they can't play them, but
right.
Even those two, I wouldn't be surprised to see a pick 'em or a +1 the other way. So
yeah. So that'll be interesting, and then we just wait and see. Again, as we talked about, if the Patriots win, they get in. Miami needs some help because they need to win and the Patriots need to lose. The Steelers need 2 ties. Seems likely it's going to be either the Dolphins or Patriots that gets in there.
Who quietly got their poop together and has made a nice little run? The Chargers.
Yes, I agree.
All of a sudden they're a little bit healthier and their talent's showing out. And I think Herbert's probably grown up a little more. And here they are. Yeah.
Well, and you think about if they're playing, so the winner of the South, either Jacksonville or Tennessee, is the 4.
Right.
The Chargers win the tiebreaker over the Ravens based on conference. So the Chargers could be favored on the road in that game. I mean, that's a favorable, either one is, I think, is a favorable matchup for the Chargers to think about winning a playoff game and advancing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I wouldn't be surprised to see them +2 or 3 against either one of them.
Yeah. And so that's really interesting because I would agree with you. The Chargers are kind of, sneaky and have put together some good games. But, too, they also have to compete with the Chiefs who are playing well, the Bills who are playing well, the Bengals who are playing well. So they can win that first week, but they're going to have to play 2 of those teams just to get to the Super Bowl.
I think clearly those 3 teams you just mentioned not only are the top contenders in the AFC, but I think they're the top contenders in football and the best 3 teams in football, all in the AFC. So that's quite interesting for sure. And you never know when everything seems wide open, chalk usually tends to, be the outcome.
Yeah.
So, of course, we're always rooting for chaos here at Think Tank Sports. But either way, we'll be paying attention. Either way, we'll be doing our analyzing, and we will bring that information to you in our weekly podcast. Thank you for checking us out here on Anchor or on Spotify or wherever it is you've downloaded us or streamed us from. We appreciate it. Check us out on YouTube. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Help us to grow that page here in 2023. I have a number in mind for subscribers by 2024. I won't throw it out there quite yet, but when we get close, I will. And no, it's not 10, Dave. I know what you're thinking.
Okay. Good. Lofty goals.
Lofty goals for 2023 here at Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen as we strive for 5.